This is Robert Clotworthy, the narrator of The Curse of Oak Island, and I have a question for you. Could it be that you are listening to The Curse of Oak Island and Beyond live stream?
This is a top pocket find, mate, for sure.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Curse of Oak Island and Beyond live stream. I am your host, Jeff Freeman, and tonight we got Dale and John and Jack and myself. Hey, guys, how you doing?
Good evening.
So, welcome, and we got another full house. We got the D and the J DJs. We got the DJs, Dale and the three J's here. So, boy, I tell you what, I'm having some. We had to restart. I've been having all kinds of technical difficulties this evening, trying to get this thing to be right at 7:30. As you can see, my green screen is messed up for some reason, and I have to sit still so you don't get all this weirdness going on. I can't move my hands too fast. I don't know. It just everything is really not working proper this evening. So, but we're here. So we're going to do our best to put this show on. So, let's see. Let's give a shout out. We got Karen showing up here. Hi, Karen. Of course, Tom Burns and Linda and Jan out working the chat tonight on the YouTube side and the Facebook side, and everybody doing all their stuff. Thank you guys so much for all that you do for this show. I appreciate it so very, very much. Let's see. Hugh is out there. Dana's out there. Hi, Dana. Les is out there. Let's see. Sharon, Elizabeth. Who else we got? Let's see. Eric Spencer. Jeff's in the house. Paula Steen. Hi, Paula. Let's see. Jersey Lady. Paula Mason's out there. Hi, Paula. Let's see. Carol Walker. Jan. Hi, Jan. The music made her jump. Had my earphones on full blast. I try to turn it down when it first starts. I don't try to give it, full blast on the start of it, because I know it can be, jump right out there. Let's see, Karen. Hi, Karen.
And this is not a green screen.
Yeah, no.
No.
Where are you at there? Dale's in an undisclosed location.
Can't talk about it. No, it's. I'm actually in downtown Halifax at a hotel.
Yeah, I guess you had a bit of an issue tonight.
We had
this week.
Yesterday we had a water issue. It actually flooded my fuse box, so I have no power at home for the next 3 or 4 days. So
wow.
I'm in a hotel downtown, right across from the convention center.
Yeah. And a stone's throw from who?
I could throw a rock and hit the premier's office.
Interesting.
Yep,
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's neat.
Oh, let's see.
I would not suggest that they make them knocking at
Yeah,
you.
you're right. Yeah. Might come cart you away, So, and that's something I'm glad that they mentioned that. I know I asked you about it because I wasn't sure the premier. So he's like a governor, a state.
He's like he's like he's like the governor of your state, but it's just premiers in Canada.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that clarified it for me, because I wasn't sure exactly where that, ranked as far as, like in the U.S.
Yeah,
So
he's
that's
the top.
right.
He's the top political guy here in the province.
Right. And that was really, we're going to get to talking about him out there on the show in a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to move too much. This is weird. I don't want this weird. It just looks so strange.
It's like a strobe-like effect there, Jeff.
Yeah, I know. It's really screwy. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that, folks. But we'll get the show in tonight yet as we go along here. Let's see.
Henry DeWitt's with us tonight.
Yeah, Sandollar Ray. Hi, Sandollar. Anne Marie, all the way from Germany. All right.
Hey.
Glad you're here. Kat's here. Eric Spencer is here. Amy's here. Hi, Amy.
I just had someone message. They want to see the outside. So there's my view.
Oh, wow.
That's the Halifax Convention Center. So if anybody wants
So
to
you're
know.
several floors up there. Yeah.
I'm on the 6th floor.
Oh, I don't see too much snow around.
There's none. It was 7 degrees here today. There's no snow at all on the ground.
Wow. Hi, Kate. Kate's here. Roberta's here. Robert Westrick. Hey, Robert. Glad you come by. I appreciate it, Rob. It's really nice. Let's see. April is here. Kathleen is here. Thank you guys for coming by tonight. And like I said, we're going to do our best to keep things rolling. I don't know what's happening with some of the StreamYard is having some issues. I think YouTube is having some issues going on too as well. The Awoken one's here. Let's see. It makes me more fun to watch what it's doing, the weirdness there on the Yeah, I can't move too much. Jim Barlow, hey Jim, Alan Hall, Alan. I don't think he's from Massachusetts. All right, that's a name I haven't seen before. I don't think. Let's see, Javin lady, Javin. Hello everyone. Hi.
What's
Let's
this
see.
moon? Oh, moon mist ice cream. You
What's
know what?
that?
I've had someone's talking about moon mist ice cream on there. I've had it once. It tastes like blueberries and different fruits. I don't like it, but I've had it. I've had a little tiny bit of it once. I'm not a fan of it.
Oh yeah, moon mist ice cream tastes
It's all
like.
different colors. Yeah,
Oh wow, okay. So there's only one flavor, and it's multi stuff,
it's
right?
it's all different colors. It's like purple and yellow and different colors in it. I'm not a
Like a
fan of it.
rainbow sherbet almost.
So yeah, similar, but they call it moon mist.
Okay. Oh, 54 degrees in PA. Yeah, it got pretty
Wow.
warm here today too. Yeah, I actually got out a little bit during the day today from work. And anyway, so I'm back from my vacation. I took a few days off. I went up to the UP of Michigan, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and yeah, I went up there. I was at the snowmobile race in Sault Ste. Marie. We call it Sioux, Michigan for short. Sault Ste. Marie. It's right on the border of Canada. So you got Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. You got Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada. So it's right at the border. And that's originally where I'm from. So, but I went up there and spent a few days. Yeah, I get going to the race and just seeing some people up there and spending some time in my dad's the house that my father built. I've got some pictures. I'll put them up on YouTube at some point here. I'll get them up and I'll share those around as we go along here. And then it was so weird because I was trying to go. I went live at the race, right? And I was using my phone. So I go to YouTube and I said, go live. I hit the button to go live. I had 65% battery, right? So I go live and I'm like, hey, everybody, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking along and I'm showing they're doing they call it the grader race. The graders are out taking off all the guys. The snowmobiles have studs on their tracks. So as they're racing, they're tearing up the ice. They get start with 2 feet of ice. They're tearing it up. Well, pretty soon it's like sugar on the track and they have to go around and plow it off. So the graders go around doing that. So I was waiting for them to go back to green because that's the best part, to see them when they're at green flag. Now it's like Daytona. I mean, it's a huge, fast track. Anyway, so I'm talking along and I'm doing this and all of a sudden, boom, my phone just goes dead after 6 minutes, completely dead. And my battery, it was so cold, it was -3 Fahrenheit. But I was pretty warm, but my phone, it went from 65 to 0 in 6 minutes. And boom, it just died. Fahrenheit. Yeah, Karen asked Celsius or Fahrenheit. It was Fahrenheit, 3 below Fahrenheit. Yeah. Great for the racing, not so great for the fans being it. But you're wearing a snowmobile suit. It really wasn't, I wasn't really cold. My hands were cold holding the phone and stuff, but that was about it. But yeah.
Wow.
So I did get some pictures. I took another camera I had and I got some good video of the race. And if you guys care, I'll put it up onto YouTube. I'm going to make a better video and throw it up there just so you can get an idea of that. But anyway, so I made it back.
Locks then, weren't you?
The what?
You were up there by Stu Locks,
right there by the Stu Locks. Yeah, exactly right. Yep. My dad was worked on a couple of those locks as when I was a kid up in that area. So anyway, let's see. Snowmobile races. Yeah, I know. I love the snowmobile races. I really do. And that one, the I-500, it's 500 miles on a 1.25 mile oval track that's shaped like a paperclip. And yeah, so it's 300 and I think it's 345 laps, however that works out. But it takes all day, and it's caution flags and refueling and changing skis, and just it's really a cool time anyway. So I really enjoy it. So yeah, so we'll see what happens in the future, whether or not I end up there or something. We'll see. All right, so let's get into it. What do you think? So episode number 14, premiere of The Dig. And I thought it was a pretty good episode. I'm really, I had a feeling, here they're going with the cans, right? And I had a feeling that we're not going to get to see too much of the can going in the earth. That they would probably wait till the end of the episode to get it started, which they did. But next week is looking really good. Can't wait till they get to pulling some stuff up out of there. Who said that? I gotta look over here and see. Oh, that's you. You said that. And Hawken. Yeah. So, well, I gotta admit, living in Pennsylvania for the last 9 years, yeah, I'm not one of those guys that wear the shorts. It's not cold out here. That's not me. I mean, look at
You're
me.
not Billy.
Yeah, I'm 180 pounds. I'm not, I don't have. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
That's too good.
Yep. All right. So let's before we get too far off track here. All right. So let's see. All right. Let me get back here, get my things in a row. I didn't even have Facebook up running over here yet. Okay. Here we go. So let's get our pictures. And we I was talking about the phone lines. I was going to have the phone line up and my phone's dead. I'm so prepared. I'm sorry. I just got back yesterday late. All right. I know you guys didn't come here to hear all this stuff. So let's share some screens and get my pictures rolling here. And we'll share. All right. So Oak Island, episode number 14, premiere of The Dig. And of course, there's the beautiful shot of Oak Island. I love that. It looks like Colin Jameson's boat out there cruising around in one of these.
There it is right there.
Yeah, cruising around the island. And so we start off in the money pit. And right now up there, they're serving, supervising. Vanessa is up there supervising the arrival of the cans. I was trying to get an idea of exactly how long those were. I think they're 20 footers. Do you guys know about how long those are? I'm guessing 20 footers.
I was guessing 25, but that
Yeah,
could
right
be
there
wrong.
somewhere. Because if you take the diameter of the can, which we know is 10 feet, and you lay it across here, so yeah, 25 foot long each can.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, didn't they say they were going? What's that?
Some of them are shorter.
Are they?
There's
Yeah, there was
one
a
shot, and they show some short ones.
Yeah, you're right. There was a couple shorter ones. I think they said they were going. They had enough to go 180 feet. Was that correct? 180 feet down.
Feet.
All right, that's pretty good. That should be what they shouldn't have to go any deeper than that. I wouldn't think. Hopefully not.
Your 25-foot cans would be 6 and a couple small ones. Then.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Look at the size of that crane. I mean, that crane is massive. That's much bigger than the one they had there last year. I just love this picture because you can get a really good look at what's happening in the money pit there and all the work they went to put in to stabilize this because they don't want to go through the idea of having it cave in again. Remember, that was H8. Was that H8 that caved in around it?
Yep, that's correct.
There were two cave-ins. There was one at the end of season 7 too, right by the Smith's Cove.
Oh yeah. Yep. So Vanessa's out there. She and you know what? You mentioned it earlier, Jack, about Vanessa when she's on point out there on the money pit. That she's in charge. I mean, we got Andrew. Andrew's out there with the Irving Equipment Limited. So you got Andrew and you got Vanessa. But did you notice who's calling the shots?
It's all Vanessa.
It's Vanessa. And I tell you what, I mean, she is such a wonderful person, and she is going to be coming on the show with us. We're going to wait, as I mentioned last week, we're going to kind of wait toward the end of the filming, the end of the season before we get a lot of these guys on. And we got Laird coming. We got Steve Guptill coming on. We got Vanessa's going to be coming on. We got a lot of the cast members are going to be joining us, but we don't want to get them on too soon because then they can't talk about the stuff that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
That hasn't been aired. So really, I mean, as much as I love having them on, it's a kind of a waste because they can't talk about the stuff that hasn't been aired yet. So that's why we like to wait, and then, like I said, you got to catch them in that time frame between the end of the season and the start of their filming out on the island, which for some of them starts pretty quickly. So we kind of catch them in between that. So, and then try to get most of them in here as we can. So
quick thing, Jeff, about
what's
Vanessa. That? I'm going to do a plug here. We're going to do another fundraiser for Christmas Daddies, but we're going to start it really, really, really early. I got some stuff coming in from Vanessa. I got a signed baseball hat, a signed hard hat that was actually worn by the cast, a T-shirt, and a signed picture that Vanessa's donating to us to do a fundraiser with. So we're going to do that once we get the stuff in. So I just wanted to mention it early.
Yeah. That's going to be cool. Yeah, you
so
guys, for those of you who don't know about the Christmas Daddies fundraiser that Dale and his wife Sherry did last year, this was for they own a company called Maritime Tartan, and they actually were able to get the hats, 2 hats. They were Oak Island hats. There was a pink one and a yellow one, and they had them signed by just about everybody that was on the island, cast members and all the workers and stuff that are there. Signed these hats, and then they auctioned off these hats. Linda ended up, it was a really cool story, but we won't go into it right now. But Linda Simpson, the admin of our group, she ended up buying one of them, and doing some really cool thing for a lady that won it. It was really a cool thing. But she has one of those hats. She has the yellow one, right? The yellow one, I believe.
She has the purple. No, she has the purple.
Oh, she
one.
has the purple one. That's right,
Purple.
purple one.
Yeah.
And then the yellow one went to Christmas Daddies and got auctioned off at the telethon.
So in total, I think the one online that we did with everybody here raised 24,000, and the one that was auctioned off on Christmas Daddies brought in 31,000 or 3,100. So it was $27,000 altogether raised with those 2 hats.
Good.
So now I got some stuff from Rock coming in. So we're going to start it again once we get. She's going to mail it out probably next week.
Right.
So once we get it in and get it all settled, we'll start it again.
Yep. Yeah. So we know that Vanessa she just loves fundraiser. I mean, to help the needy causes, and she does that kind of stuff a lot. She's always doing doing charities. She's involved in a couple of them with Rock Equipment Company, and on her own on her own too. So that's really great. So for her to donate some hats and shirts and stuff that has been worn and signed by the members,
show worn hard hats is amazing.
Yeah, that's really
incredible.
Cool. Yep.
So, but she's a good person. I just want to get the plug in there now, so everybody know.
That's going to be great. Yeah, she is. She is just a wonderful person. She really is. And like I said, we're really looking forward to having her on. But yeah, going back to being on the Money Pit. I mean, when things are happening, when equipment's out there and she's out there, she's in charge. I mean, she's calling the shots. She is very strong in that whole thing. So it's great. It's great to see that. And what a role model for young ladies in the world to know that they can achieve that same thing. So really cool. So what the guys are going to be doing, they're going to put this first can down. They've got it marked out. They're going to be putting it down in, I did say a man's world. I mean, construction. No, Judy. Yeah, I did say that. It is kind of, you think of construction, you think of, men, but it's not. It truly isn't. And she has proven it. So I didn't mean, please don't take me wrong on that. That's kind of what I was saying there. It's, who'd we lose?
We lost Dale.
We lost Dale. He just disappeared. Okay. So we know that they're putting that first can down in D2. And this is it right here. C1 being right there. Just not that far away. Now, D2 is a spot where they... D2 is a spot where they found that piece of metal that had the gold on it. Remember that? And also they found some ancient wood that dated back to the 15. Let's see. Jan's got it in the synopsis here. Previously,
15th century.
15th century. Yes. So that's really, that's in the 1400s. So they found wood down there in the 1400s. Now I had another map that I want to show of the Money Pit. And this is one right here. This is one of Deidre White's maps that she created. And Deidre and Dustin have the group. It's Could It Be Oak Island? You can see that right down here at the bottom. Could It Be Oak Island podcast? Okay, there's Dale back.
God, I went into a void.
Yeah, you just disappeared all of a sudden.
I fell into a hole, I think.
Yeah. So Could It Be Oak Island podcast, and Deidre makes these maps. So it's really cool. And I like to use this one because D2, now we get a better look at D2. Now D2 would be right there, right on this spot right here. Okay. If you can see where my mouse is moving, and C1 being over here just about, I think, what is that? About 10 feet away, not quite 10 feet away, 9 feet. And we also know that this dotted line right here is, the Dunfield dig area. This would be the top edge of the Dunfield dig area, this dotted line going all the way around. Now, D2 does fall within that. And people are saying, well, they're going to be pulling up, if he went down there, then they're not going to find anything in there. But remember that it's cone shaped. So the Dunfield dig area was cone shaped because he couldn't dig it straight down like a caisson does. He had to dig it, because it was caving in. So they ended up making it cone shaped. So this dotted line you see right here in the center is the bottom at 140 feet down. I think it was right. Was that 140 feet? Okay. So, people are talking, well, so this D2 is out toward the edge. Now, for the first maybe 20, 30, 40 feet, they're going to be hitting dirt and wood and everything that he pushed back into the hole when he was done. But once they get beyond that, they'll be outside of that cone shaped area and they'll be in virgin ground going down through there. So
how stable is that, Jeff?
How stable?
Within the Dunfield edge, how stable is that ground? I mean, would you trust? I mean, we've had a couple comments, and here's one of them.
Yeah,
I'm worried that the weight being applied to the area, there's been 2 cave-ins. I mean, did they stabilize it? They brought all that,
Yeah, they brought
they
all
did
that
the
rock
best
and
they
everything
could.
back.
Jerry did a lot of work there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's still always a concern, I'm sure, because anything in that Dunfield area it's just unstable. You don't know what's down there. And if things rot or move away, and then you get a void, and the void collapses. There's just so much debris in there. That's just a dangerous place to dig in general.
It truly is. Yep. So you're actually absolutely right. That whole area has got to be. I mean, yeah, it was what 1965 is that, or we know that's when the causeway was put in and all that stuff. So it has been able to be packed in a little bit over those years. But yeah, it's not going to be as stable as virgin ground. No way. Absolutely.
I think Billy brought in a lot of rock, though.
He did.
He brought a lot of
they
rock.
were
I think
talking.
that may have stabilized quite a bit with the pounding of the rock putting in and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is that Vanessa's dealt with this before on the island, so it's nothing that's going to surprise her.
Yep. Yeah. That's what Kate said. That Billy. I think Billy did a lot of work, and I doubt that they would not put safety first. You're exactly right, Kate.
Probably yes.
Exactly right. They did. They definitely did. And so, but getting back to that, being that is in the Dunfield dig area, they are going to be pulling up a lot of stuff that Dunfield pushed back into the hole when he filled it back in. And because he was, say what you will about Dunfield the Destroyer, we've called him in the past, but he was so sure he was going to find it, and he dug. That's why he dug, and he figured that he was right on top of the money pit. So, when he pushed it back in, I mean, he was pushing everything back in there, and we've already seen that the some of the spoils area that he had they found artifacts in it. They were over there searching it, and they found artifacts. So they weren't even really checking the dirt that he was pulling out to see what it may or may not have had in it. So, I mean, a lot of things that but again, the technology that he had at the time, Deidre, I've got one of your maps. I see good Deidre's here. I got what
you arrived.
So by sending me this map that you did, you gave me free license to use it. I know it's out of date now, but thank you. I appreciate that. So anyway, I wanted to give you guys an idea of where D2 is in relation to the Dunfield dig area and C1 and some of the other caissons that they have put in. All these other ones are these caissons that they've put in the ground. So anyway, once they get past, and I'm guessing 30 to 50 feet. Once they get past that, they're going to be outside that cone area, and they're going to be into fresh ground. So yeah. Deidre says I have a lot of updates to do. Yeah, you do. Get busy. Get her done. So, but anyway, this is a great map. I just love it, and really appreciate you sending that over. Here's that piece of metal, one of the pieces of metal that they found in D2. And also remember that D2 was also the area where they pulled up a water sample. That was one of the water samples that had the most concentration of zinc and copper and whatnot in it that they attributed to the silver that was down there. Yeah. So D2 was with the highest concentration of that. So that's why they wanted to put their first caisson right there. This piece of metal that came up that had the rose gold, the gold that was mixed with silver and copper, right?
Yes.
Yes.
It had that gold content on this piece of metal. It also had, like we had mentioned earlier, it also had the wood that was dated back to the 15th century. Let's see. Contains pieces of metal and they contain gold, ancient wood that could be evidence of a man-made tunnel. So, and you know, that's different. The 8-foot caisson going to the 10-foot caisson is 50% more spoils are going to be pulled up out of there. That's what they were saying on the show. 50% more. And it's all going to be going to the wash plant. I got a really good feeling about this. Of what they're going to find. I really do. I'm really
it's the
excited.
hammer grab. The hammer grab is so much bigger, Jeff.
I know. Look at it behind me. I got it right here behind me. I mean,
that's crazy. I mean, that's why you're getting 50% more, because look at the hammer grab.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of earth that hammer grab can move is substantial.
And you know, they showed that one picture of it going down. This was the artist picture that they made up of it going down. And actually, I mean, theoretically, it would be big enough if they centered right on the chapel vault. If they hit it center, that thing would be capable of, if without crushing it, but
pulling the roof off.
And pulling the roof off, but pulling it up whole. I mean, that's amazing.
That would be so freaking cool.
Wow.
That would be really cool, would it not?
Yeah.
You know, and then Vanessa wouldn't have to worry about chopping it in the Ark of the Covenant in half with the.
One of the things I wondered, I'm going to say that the hammer grab is on an east-west trajectory going down, okay? Say they get down there and they can't get around it, but it can get around the other way on a north-south.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have the ability to bring that thing back up,
swing it around? I don't know.
Swing it around and go back down again and grab it.
I would think so. But, you know, and again, it has to be precision. I'm going to bring this picture back up here because, I mean, this thing has to be precision. Here's the hammer grab. You know, they got two. They got the one with the teeth on it.
Yep.
Whoops. They got the one with the teeth on it right here. And look at I don't know if that's Vanessa standing there. It looks like Vanessa standing there.
Right.
And then you see how big this thing is in comparison to her. And then, of course, there's another one. This one doesn't have the teeth on it. And they'll be switching back and forth, I'm sure, as they go along. But, yeah, I would think they could. I would think that they could switch it and be able to turn it so they could put it back down. But, I mean, you know, they show it going down and grabbing a hold of the artist picture, showing it grabbing a hold of the chamber and bringing it back up. But that crushing weight, you know, the pressure being put on it to be able to grab that dirt, how much control do they have over that so that they don't grab and just crush it? It would just crush I mean, the thing's been down there for how many, since this 1400? We don't know how long it's been.
We don't know. I mean, could be earlier than that.
Something I thought of when they were doing that. I thought, can they come up, make a quick switch and go back down and grab it easier?
Yeah, I would think so. Remember when they put the can down and they thought they hit the edge of the chapel shaft, and then as they put the can further down, they figure they pushed it down into the mud and the silt and everything in the bottom. If that's the case, I can't remember what hole that was. Does anybody remember what caisson that was? I don't remember. Let's see. I'm just back to looking at some of the chat here. 5 cubic yards of dirt per hammer grab. That was Barbara. 5 cubic yards per hammer grab. Amy says it was H8. Okay, yeah, a lot of people are jumping in now saying H8. Okay, so was it so H8 hit the edge of it, and they think they pushed it out of the way. Yeah, a lot of people are jumping in now saying H8. Okay, Jim Barlow. Okay,
yep, a lot of people H8. Yep.
I think it was H8.
Yep. Well, the viewer, I mean, the folks here in the chat, all the viewers, they know. They know
like
what's
the Price is Right. Everybody knows the answer.
Yeah. Let's see. So because of Dunfield pushing all that stuff back into the hole couldn't that metal have come from anywhere in the general area? It could, but that's they found that at a depth that goes below the Dunfield dig area.
And
So
it had
that
gold.
piece of metal was found well below the Dunfield dig area, well
Hmm.
below it. So yeah, it's that's they talked about that when they brought it up because they were well below that cone shape and the depth of the Dunfield dig area. So that's why they're pretty certain that it is not something that Dunfield pushed back into the hole. That
Now,
piece
are
of
they
metal.
sorting through any of the Dumbfield fill-ins when they pull it up?
I'm
You know
sorry,
that
say that again.
what are they doing with the actual earth that they're pulling out of the area? That's the Dumbfield fill-in. Dumbfield goes and fills the hole in, but that still might hold clues.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
what's happening to that? Are they? I know they went to the stack.
I think everything that goes out of that case on is going to be in the wash plant.
Okay,
Mhm.
perfect.
Yeah, I think every single thing that goes out of there goes in that plant.
Yep.
Which would make
Yeah.
sense. Now,
Oh,
the
absolutely.
first 30 to 40 feet is going to be Dumbfield spoils.
Yep.
You know, and who knows where in the money pit area that those spoils at what depth they came from.
Exactly.
Could have been 100 feet down, could have been 20 feet down. You just don't know because it was all just kind of thrown back in.
Yep. Yeah, Amy says, I don't think Dunfield would have ignored a metal plate, a giant metal plate. No, he probably wouldn't have. He probably would have taken a good look at that.
Mhm.
Uh, Avon lady says, oh, Bev. Thank you, Bev. And I wanted to mention that too. If you're on the Facebook side and you are not, if you haven't told StreamYard that they can use your name so we know who you are, please put your name when you comment so we know who's commenting. Yeah, somebody said, I can't wait to see Jack. Oh, that was Tara. Can't wait to see Jack at the spoils table. So, Tara, when you do that, just put your name ahead in parentheses or something so we know who. So, I want to be able to recognize folks when you make a good comment. And
Absolutely.
so,
I don't think they're going to have a spoils table. I think it's all going to the wash plant.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing a table this year.
I think you're right. Everything's going to the wash plant, and then that's what Kate mentioned that too. But anyway, so Bev said, "Oh yes, I am an expert at the toy claw machine." I never could do that. It always slips out every time you grab something. It just goes whoop, and you just I hate those things. And I watch some people are so good at them, but not me. All right. So after they get done there, they jump over to. Let me get back to sharing here. They jump over to the swamp, or at least that's where we're headed. Back over to the swamp. You got Gary, Michael, Peter, David, and Billy Gerhardt, of course, in the excavator. And they're doing their final search in the swamp, looking for anything they can come up with at the end of this. They mentioned that they've already stopped pumping water out and letting it fill back in, which makes it a really big mess. But they're giving it one last go before they're made to stop. And again, they found some interesting pieces. This was obviously a man-made piece here that they found broken off. Was it
Belaying pin?
a
Jeff, is
blaying
that what
pin? Maybe.
maybe
I think Gary said something about it being a handle on a ship's wheel.
could have been.
Could have been. Could have been a handle on a ship's wheel. Seems a little. I don't know. A ship's wheel. I always think those handles are going to be a little more stout than that because of the pressure. But you never know.
Not
But
really.
yeah, that's an interesting piece. I'm sure they're going to probably get it dated and find out exactly what time period it's from and what type of wood. That's the interesting part about the wood that they found and they looked at last year or last week, and it dated from what was it 300 to 600.
Yeah.
Wow, that's just amazing.
That's all.
And it throws out every other time period, right? I mean, it goes. You see Marty with his head in his hands, and he's like, "Don't give me any more."
I mean, you've got what, 300, 700, 1200, 1500.
Well, but that's when the wood dated. It doesn't tell how the wood got there.
Right.
It
No.
doesn't tell maybe what it was associated with. Was it associated with a ship, a box? Doesn't tell you any of that. Could it have drifted in because there's definitely no road in front of the swamp at this point,
Mhm.
and the tide's much further out, so it would be ship repair piece. I mean, who knows where the origin of that wood comes from? We just know where it dates.
Yep. Yeah. Dieter says, I felt bad for Marty. Yeah, I did too, because he's just so many date frames. It's just too much. Too much, man. You know,
I found it interesting that they were, because of COVID, they couldn't send it to the University of Alaska to find out the origin and things like that and everything.
That's got to take a while, right? Marty, you'd have to hire a plane to fly it there. Send it overnight, UPS, next day air, early AM. Hugh said, does Gold River, we talked about this a little bit, Hugh, but he said, does the Gold River in Lunenburg County feed into Mahone Bay? Could the higher concentration of gold be runoff from the river? I think you can comment on that, Dale. It does, right?
It does, yeah.
You know,
but I think they got a lot of the gold out of there. I know the gold rush in the 1800s yielded 475 pounds of gold.
Yeah.
You know, I think 7,680 ounces, something to that effect. So is there anything to be run off, or has it been? Well, I'm sure there's some gold still in the gold, maybe flecks and things like that. But the majority of it was just mined right out of there because of the amount of gold they were pulling out of that river.
Yep. And then they stopped. And they stopped. So obviously they were getting to a point where they weren't finding any more.
Yeah.
And they gave it up.
From there.
Yeah. So, I mean, we talked about that. Was there mining going on in Oak Island? There's no physical record of mining taken. We did find a mining lease, but did they do it for mining, or were they using that as their permit to look for the treasure?
And Amy said the gold on Oak Island is rose gold, which is man-made.
Perfect
true
point.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amy. Yes, exactly right.
That lease could have been a big deception all the way through.
Right. And Hugh said, well, I'm not a metallurgy guy, and I'm not either, but I would have to think that that gold, rose gold with a mixture of copper and silver in it is not native. That's not going to be natural to find it that way in the ground, at least in my opinion. And again, I'm not a metallurgy guy either, so I have no idea, but I would have to guess that's not. It's man-made. That gold is man-made, manipulated.
Mayan, right? Supposedly, it matches the ink in the mine gold.
Tumbaga gold.
Tumbaga
gold. They were talking about. Yeah. So if that's the case, then it's man-made and it's not from the Gold River. So that actually made it very interesting finding it that Tumbaga gold, because that threw that right out the window. That concept. Oh, it's just mining. They were mining down there. So anyway,
but Jeff, you still have the shiny gold thing that they found that one year, and then when they went to retrieve it, it dropped and gone.
Yeah,
couldn't find it.
And that is that shiny gold thing. When you go back and look at that was H8 also, wasn't it?
H8.
No, I'm sorry, it was C1. It was C1. That was C1. That was
yes.
Yeah, that was Doug's. He was the one that suggested that they put that pipe in there back in season, oh gosh, was that like season 3 or something?
I was 3, sounds right.
And they put that camera down there and they saw that. Now that wasn't, sometimes you can say that there's andrite, or there's a couple of different types of material that will reflect light like that down there, but not like that one would, not yellow like that. That was definitely a piece of gold that they found in the wall of something. So, let's see. What did the Awoken one say? I'd rule that Gold River theory on Oak Island out, as other holes in the Money Pit area have not shown signs of significant amounts of silver or gold in the water. Yep. Good point. Yep. Very good point.
So Jeff, let's go back. The C1 shiny thing, was it man-made? I mean,
I want to say yes, but then again, we didn't get a perfect look at it.
Well, if it wasn't man-made, that's quite a sizable gold nugget sitting in there.
Yeah. Well, and it was
it was huge. Yeah, it was a yes. And this
it wasn't straight or anything else.
No.
A lot of angles to it and everything.
Yeah.
And when you picked it off the wall, it actually looked like a coin.
It looked like it maybe on edge,
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
When he dropped
But,
it, it looked like
okay.
it was a coin.
Oh,
But
that one did. Yeah. Well, that
Yeah.
one, when the diver went down there and then
Yep.
And it fell. Yeah.
Yeah. I swear it was a coin, but
Well,
yeah.
the shiny gold thing, does it look like it was worked? Man-made, like worked, a worked piece of metal.
I don't know. I'd have to look at it
Okay.
again. But it was an oddly shaped long, I would say
Gold.
from the camera look, it looked like it was about 3 inches long. And it was oddly shaped. It wasn't like a straight line, I don't think. It seemed like it was curved or something.
And it didn't look like there was any quartz around or anything that would be
No.
associated with that. It was just kind of out
Just
in
the gold.
Oh, yeah, just the gold.
Yeah.
So that would also can link credence to possibly being a piece of worked metal,
Mm-hmm.
in my mind, because it's not that's not how gold's normally naturally found.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
So
Avon lady says yes, and they found 3 gold things with a diver dropped one of them. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Driver dropped one of them.
We all held our breath on that.
Yep. Yeah, that went down into the bottom, and that's the other thing about this. When they're down here and they're putting these caissons in, there was a chamber down there because that's where he did not enter. He couldn't go all the way down to the bottom. I don't know if he wasn't allowed to, or for whatever reason he wasn't able to go to the bottom, and so he was chipping away on the side, and then that little gold thing went floated down to the bottom. So, but yeah, he wasn't. I can't remember the details on it, but they weren't allowed to go all the way down. Yeah, the Deidre said if it wasn't man-made, it still was large. It was that large, and it's still worth going after. You bet. Absolutely.
Yeah, a chunk of gold that size is worth quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 ounces of gold. I mean, who knows?
Yep. Kate's got a good thing on the Tembaga gold here.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So let's see. Here it is. The piece has found to be 75.5% gold, 21.1% copper, and 3.4% silver. A common contaminant
of South
American gold. Yep. So there you go. Tembaga gold. Yeah, and the diver dropped it. Yeah, he did. He dropped it. Remember the chain link netting around a hooked object yes, Dave, thank you. That was when they put the camera down in there, and they found those black, it looked like wrought iron pieces that were like leaning up against the wall down there and laying on the floor down there, like pieces that had fallen down inside there, and they didn't fall from C1. When they put C1 in there, they weren't things that fell into the hole from C1 because they would have known that they dropped something down there. It was simply laying down in that chamber that's down there. Yep. Oh wow, there's
we lost Dale.
We lost Dale again. Yeah, he's got a great connection to the hotel.
Well, Jeff, we know there's supposedly work gold that's come out of the Money Pit area. Wasn't there a drill that when it came up had 3 links or some chain links on the
that
gold?
Was the Truro company.
Yes.
Yeah, they figured they hit the chapel vault, and
that was worked gold, right? It was crafted.
Yeah.
So
we don't know where they are. So
no.
it's proven, but it was written, it was recorded that they had found little pieces of gold chain,
like 3, I believe. 3,
like 3 links of gold chain that they found, and they brought that up. Where they are now, who knows? But yeah, and there was bits of gold and whatnot on the drill head.
On the drill, yes. And a piece that was that the same
parchment paper too, if I remember.
Parchment, that's what I was gonna say, with a V or something on it.
Yeah, a VI.
The VI.
Mm-hmm.
Something's there.
Robot says, let's see, rose gold, Bolivia Jesuits to Havana Catholic Cathedral, 1762, British plunder. Yeah. Royal British Freemasons to Oak Island. Yeah, very likely. I mean, how else would it get there? Think about that. That's the interesting thing about that is that Tembaga gold, the percentages of it says that it's likely to be Tembaga gold. How did it get there? Now that ties back into all the stuff coming up from the Aztecs, right? which also ties back in with the guy that was shown on the show again, Scott Clark, talking about the Concepcion and all of that. So, I mean,
But a lot of that Aztec gold was heading to Spain. It was a Spanish fleet, was it not? Was it the 1715, Jeff? Is that right?
yeah,
The
the
Concepcion,
17 fleet.
yeah, and Spanish plunder,
Yep.
and of course the Catholic being, the Spanish being a Catholic or Vatican extension, that gold, was heading eventually to Vatican coffers.
Yep.
That's
That's what
just
somebody
was
had said.
happening.
Let's see who said that. I was going to go back
You
and find it.
have it
Roman
up, yeah.
coins were often made of rose gold. Henry VIII was fond of rose gold. So, but the percentages of it, I think, were what they were saying, that it was South American percentages of each is what that's what Christopher So was saying, that the Tumbaga gold was indicative of South America. Yeah. Yeah, Henry DeWitt said it looked like fragments of metal covering in the silt. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It looked like wrought iron. That's why I thought of it. It was like wrought iron pieces that were laying down there. So what in the heck was that all about? Yeah, definitely. Aztec gold was stolen by the Spanish and stashed. Yeah, I know. Some of it, Wanda, I think some of it was. I truly am starting to believe that.
I'm also even beginning to wonder if they might have to take a better look at Mahone Bay in the meantime, also, eventually, that area.
Yeah, why not?
Because
Well, ship was burned there. We know that, right?
Right.
And there was possibly a ship burned in the swamp. So that's kind of the parallel. Why are you destroying evidence? For what purpose? And what are they hiding?
Yeah. Yep.
That's the question.
The retirement plan. They were hiding their retirement plan. Who knows? Yep. Hugh said some hotel. This is what Dale popped out a couple of times. And Hugh said some hotels require extra charge for the internet. Dale may need to pony up and pay.
I got to
No, my battery was dying. I had to recharge. I had to plug
Oh
in.
my God.
No, the internet's covered.
Yep. Yeah, so let's see. Facebook is, let's see, Dan Blankenship. That was Henry. Henry DeWitt said Dan Blankenship believed the treasure was at Oak Island was the Spanish fleet. Yes, he did. He made that very clear. Yep.
And Dan may very well be right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Dave Petrella said, yes, Henry, right, Henry. And like Jeff said, the metal link and the hooked metal didn't come from above. But we do know that there's water current in C1 that could have brought objects in there, or walk in a tunnel from the side that people brought objects in that way. I think it was, people brought them down there, that things were left behind. That's my guess. I mean, and again, I'm, speculating about that, but that's what I think. D2 may be a side chamber. What's that?
If C1, is flooded naturally, if it's flood tunnel water, we're speculating that was made somewhere in the age of exploration, possibly before.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking 7 to 10 feet lower in tides and water levels. So those box drains would be much further out, would they not?
Yes.
Yeah.
And where they are, where they've been digging in Smith's Cove, they're not out that far. And so in my mind, it would be much further out, because you're talking 7 to 10 feet of water, and tides. And then if they're still current 700, 800, 900,000 years ago, that tells you how deep that tunnel is where C1 is. And it must be much deeper than we thought, much deeper than even the flood tunnels. And in my opinion.
Yeah. You would think so, for sure, because the flood tunnels would drain into it.
Flood tunnels would drain into it.
Mm-hmm.
And with the flood tunnels, also depended upon tides coming in and out of Smith's Cove. And they may well have been. It may have filled up the flood tunnels. They were, armed and ready for it to be sprung. So there's always a tide coming into the flood tunnels, always water going down into the flood. And then the minute that trap was sprung, the flood tunnels would drain out into the money pit.
Yep.
Which is always possible.
Oh.
Dale's going around. He has to go put another quarter into the internet
That's right.
machine.
The days of the dime are over. We're up to quarters.
We have power, I wonder?
He's still here. He just got the camera turned off for a second.
It's funny.
We can hear him. Let's see.
Anchorage first had a good question
Power's
here.
on. Some of the lights are on. I'm just not sure which ones.
How did someone come up with the theory of a bird ship in the swamp? I don't recall them recovering anything burnt unless I missed it. I don't remember them recovering anything burnt, but that was Fred Nolan's theory.
Yeah.
But did they find burnt wood at the top of the eye of the swamp?
Yeah.
The eye of the swamp had burnt wood.
Yeah. They found a piece of burnt wood, and they found that piece of metal.
Yes.
And Carmen Legg said it was like a piece of strapping that would have went around a plank, and he said that was definitely in an intense fire.
The original theory came from Fred Nolan, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, that piece of metal was really significant in my opinion because I got you muted. Sorry. There we go. But yeah, Fred Nolan came up with that. You're right. He came up with that theory originally that a ship was burned and buried and covered up in the swamp. And then they did find some. I think one piece of burnt wood, or maybe a couple, and then they also found that burnt piece of strapping that he said was in a hot, sustained fire.
Mm. Yep. That doesn't equate. You're right. I'm saying it might not be burnt. You're completely right. But that's kind of the running theory that the ship was burned in the swamp. Yep. But we have found things. That's just because there's something burned in the swamp doesn't mean it has anything to do with the ship at all.
Right. That's true. That's true.
It could just you could be heating something up for other purposes.
Right.
Exactly. So.
Oh, we still want there to be a ship in the swamp, don't we, Jack?
Oh yes.
I do.
Well, we got Gary on our side now from what he was talking about on the show.
Yeah, I agree.
Gary at the end of the thing says, "I'm going to that camp. I believe this."
Yeah, he did. You're right. He actually did. And Marty believes that there's more answers there. Here's a picture of Marty. This is where he was gathering up the crew, telling them, that it's time to. Well, what did you find? Because you got time. You're done. You're wrapping it up today. Whatever you're doing here. And they did find a couple pieces. There was another piece of a post or whatever with a that it was pointed. I had a point, cut on the end of it, and then this one here, and then of course that last piece of wood that looks like a piece of planking or something. It was definitely man-made. Those kind of pieces, though, again, we've talked about that. They could float in there from the storms at sea, and there's been all kinds of shipwrecks. We've talked about that before, but. It is possible that they could have floated in from somewhere else and then got stuck in the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Dana. Dana's here. So what you say is hard to imagine anyone burning a ship unless it was in a charcoal kiln, turn it into coal for fuel. Yeah.
I was just wondering if it got stuck, they could not dislodge it.
That could be too. And we don't know what that's the thing that we have a tough time speculating about, right? Is the swamp. Fred Nolan always had the theory that it was two islands, that there was deep water there at one time. We know the sea level is a foot deep, deeper for every century.
Yeah, every 100 years.
So I mean a foot lower. So the water levels were a foot lower than every 100 years. So you go back, 400 or 500 years, and so you're talking 4 or 5 feet lower. So we don't know for sure if it was two islands. Did they fill it in with the spoils from the money pit? We just don't know.
But would it be two islands? Because you're talking 10 feet lower during the time.
I find it really hard to believe.
And then you have the stone road that goes out to either a wharf or a pier on the other side. And you follow that stone road out. It goes to where boats would dock.
Yep.
And then it leads to maybe the swamp area being for ship repair.
Right.
Which makes a lot of sense. It was cleared out. They cleared it out for ship repair. It's an open space where you can actually do those type of things, which would also explain the tar kiln and other things. Ship repair and cabbages and whatever other supplies you needed to go maybe into the St. Lawrence Seaway and further north.
Right. And it's a good stopping point to make your
Great
way to
stopping.
resupply to head on down. Amy
And,
said it was 2 islands. It could be. We just don't know. Unfortunately, there's not enough evidence to tell us one way or the other if it
it
was
would
2
also
islands
be good
or not.
because you would also be able to trade with the local First Nation tribes.
Yep. Yep.
You know,
And
and we
you
know that
had to. You
you
had to
had
make
to.
friends.
You know, there's no way you get up the Gold River without the First
Yep.
Nation in the
Yeah.
tribes, and you don't travel without the First Nation. And you know,
No.
if you're not welcome, believe me, it's going to be known that you're not welcome.
Yeah. And you're going to have a really tough time getting anywhere alive.
No,
One thing
exactly.
I want to say too before we get out of the swamp area is that next Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 12th, we have Terry DeVoe coming on the show. Now, if you don't remember who Terry was, he's the guy that took out the crew back several seasons ago, took them out to see the Overton Stone, and is very strong about the Portuguese. He was also out looking at the Stone Road in the swamp. And he came back and showed him the pictures where it looks like if you take the line from the stone road in the swamp, southeast corner, and you follow that line, there's a lot of stone, larger stone, out in on the other side of the road that was made at the bottom of the swamp, going out into the ocean, which looks like there was a road that went all the way out. Now, if the sea levels were lower then, that would have been dry ground. And they had a road that was built, it looks like, going all the way out to, and this is where I want to go next, Lot 32. Now, Lot 32, they're out there looking and they keep finding evidence of maybe there was a pier or a slipway or a dock or something that went out from Lot 32 at the bottom of the swamp over on the west side. Yes, he's a strong Portuguese connection guy, is Terry DeVoe. Now, so this is one of the things that I want to ask Terry. Now, we will put up a thing for the you guys in the in Facebook and stuff. If you want to ask questions of Terry, send an email to. You can either do it on the Facebook side or you can send an email. It's Oak Island and Beyond at gmail.com. Oak Island and Beyond at gmail.com. You can send us a question there, and we'll ask Terry for you when he's here on the show. But I want to ask him about this. The question, they keep running into these things in Lot 32 that indicates that there may have been a pier that went out or a dock, a wharf that went out into the water right there, and that stone road. Now, if those things connect together, then that is very likely that that's why they're finding the ox shoes, the ox shoe nails, the spikes that they're finding over here. It would lend it to believe that that's true. And I want to ask Terry about all of that when he's here because he believes that that was the Portuguese. So, going to be a lot of good questions for him. That's Saturday at 2:00. Terry DeVoe is going to be on the show with us. It's going to be a fun one. And I've got a lot of questions for the man.
That's going to be a good show.
That is.
Yeah. He's from up in your neck of the woods, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, really, really looking forward to that one. You guys won't want to miss that one. It's going to be a fun show. So the guys got Alex and Gary Drayton over here in Lot 32 looking around. They found a piece of an ox shoe nail. That was one find. They have found pieces of ox shoe. And then they found this musket ball that they were messing around with. And Alex said it looked like it was shot. It was actually used. Let's see.
1500s to the mid 1800s.
Yeah, is that what he gave a date on it?
Yeah, late 1500 to mid 1800.
Yeah, and that's what he said. He said the first target was that Alex digs out was a square ox shoe nail that would indicate oxen were used to transport cargo from the wharf that they think might have been there to other parts of the island. And it makes sense. If that road was there, that road may tie into that wharf area, and that was the road that they used to get all the way from what is now in the ocean, but not that deep, and using that road to actually stuff all the way up to where the road is in that they uncovered in the southeast corner of the swamp, and then turn and go one way, turns and goes toward the money pit. The other one turned and went toward the eye of the swamp, that direction. So makes sense.
I
Right?
would really like to know, to talk to Colin and Tony, because they've been around that island so many times, just to see what they see there. Do they think there's a wharf there? How many shipwrecks are there?
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a real interesting conversation to hear from them because they're there.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yep, me too. Let's see.
Right, here's one, Jeff. I agree with this. All pieces of wood that are pulling from the swamp are much smaller, and not a big ship. A lot of it's smaller wood. And they did pull out a 10-foot plank out there of the swamp at one point.
That big long
one
one.
of the
Yeah, it
first
was like,
episodes.
Yeah, one of the first episodes. Yep.
yeah, it was like 10 or 12 feet long. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And
that
the
was
question
really
then
long.
becomes, what's the anomaly?
Yeah, all the wood they're pulling out now is all around the same size.
Mhm.
It looks
smaller. It's smaller. It's smaller.
Yeah, it's small pieces, but it's all roughly the same size.
And it makes sense because those would be the boats that you would pull onto shore using a slipway.
Yes.
You're not going to bring the ship in. You're not going to bring a great big old ship in. You're
These are
going to
like
bring
little dories that they're bringing in.
Yeah. Oh, this is Tom just sent me a picture here. I'm going to bring this up real quick because he's exactly right. Here, let me see. Here we go. And I'll zoom in on this. All right, I'm going to pop this up here real quick. Right there.
Dory.
Yep.
It makes perfect sense. I mean, you look at the sizes of the pieces of wood on this thing.
Yep. Yeah, it's just
Now,
a dory.
remember that trapezoid shaped piece that they found? It's like a triangle without a point on it. What do you see right here in the back?
Yep.
And remember that other piece that we were talking about? It looked like a knob that had a rope wrapped around it. Right here.
I said to my wife the other day, I said, I think they found a dory, parts of a dory. And that's exactly what it looks like, what they're finding. Even the planking, like it looks like one.
Wow.
I think that's what they're finding on the shore.
That you're right. Remember that piece of that plank that we just talked about, 12 foot long or whatever it was?
That would be,
Look at that right there. Well, I didn't never thought about that. That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they're finding remnants of a dory.
Yep.
If they're finding remnants of a dory, have they gone far enough out, which they have not been able to do because they're not allowed to?
Yep.
To really find the anomaly if there's a bigger ship
that
they were taking it from.
Yeah, I think they're finding a boat that they scuttled on the shore, and then the rest of the ship, which was burned apparently in the middle of the swamp, they're finding the dory part of it first.
Yep.
It could be from the ship.
Yep. Wow.
Makes
Thank
sense.
you, Tom, for sending that picture. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's great.
And look what's all around the edges of it.
Yep.
All these little pieces, which we found. They found pieces.
Wow. There it is.
Like belaying pins or oar locks.
Or oarlocks. There they are.
I mean, that's exactly.
Those are oarlocks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really are. That's awesome.
There's something like that at the Maritime Museum too.
Because Jeff, you see the planks going across the ribbing, right? That's what people would sit there.
Yep.
With a set of oars, and those are oarlocks.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. And that knob, that one piece of wood they found, couldn't tell what it was. It looked like it had a rope burn on it or whatever. Look at that, it's right there.
That's a tie off.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's great. That's what it is, Jeff. Look at that. It almost fits that perfectly.
And there's your trapezoid or your triangle piece of wood right back here.
It is. Great find, Tom. That's amazing. That's it right there.
Yep.
Wow.
That's why Tom is part of the
That's an amazing find. That's awesome.
It truly is, and that's so true that I think that's what it is, because that's the boat that's going to be up, on the shore. They're going to take any cargo, put it on from the ship onto one of these dory, you called it, put it onto the dory and head inland with it, pull it up on the slipway, unload it, go back out to the ship. Or vice versa.
And they were widely used in Nova Scotia way back. They were widely used because there's a lot of ships in this area way back in the 1600s, 1700s, and that's what they used to get back and forth to shore.
Yep.
So I mean, it makes perfect sense.
And Jeff, the viewers are agreeing. Look at this, Tom. Rocks and well, that's settled. It fits everything they pulled out of the swamp perfectly. It's awesome.
Yeah.
The thing I want to see is I want them to go deeper into the swamp.
Oh, I do too. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, that anomaly, 200 feet by 48 they showed on a flat screen.
Yep. And I tell you what, Jack, if they, let's just say, I think I really do believe that they found something pretty significant in the money pit with the cans this year. I think they did. But let's just say they find it. Okay, there it is. We found the treasure. Boom, we're done. If they don't go back and dig up that swamp and find that to see if there's evidence, I'm going to be mad because I want to.
You're not going to be alone.
I know. I want to know if there's a ship in there because they found
They
that.
don't go to the eye. You're going to be mad too.
Yeah, I'm going. I'll have to have a word with Rick and Marty. I mean, that's just all there is to it.
And Jeff, I'm just going to put it up because I just need to put this up. And you and I have talked about this. I'm going to throw it up there. There it is. What's under the cork? Let's call it like it is. You know, what's under
Thank
the
you,
cork?
Wanda.
Play.
Yes. If they don't get answers on that stuff there and they wrap it up and go, okay, we're done. We found what we needed. It was the Portuguese. Okay, we're out of here. No.
What is under
You're
the
not
blue
done.
clay?
What
Not
is
done
Rick
until
saying?
I say
Ron
you're
has answers, and I want them.
I do. I want to know because they found that big beam or that great big piece of that had a flat edge last year at the end of the season 8, at the end of season 8. I want to know what that thing is.
And they didn't get out that far.
They didn't go far enough. Right. You're exactly right. They did not reach out far enough because they couldn't. So
What's under the blue clay?
but I think you're right. I think the pieces that they're finding are from a dory. I think that's a great catch. I really do. Tom and Dale, I think you guys nailed it. Yeah, a dory. Yep. And there's so many earmarks of the pieces of wood can all be found right here on this piece of on this thing.
Yeah,
right
I was
here.
thinking about dories last week, and I'm thinking that's what it looks like they're pulling up as parts of a dory because that's what they.
I got to show it again. I mean, just
because they wouldn't have taken their ships into shore,
right?
And that was the only other way to get there. So I mean, it makes perfect sense. That's a perfect picture Tom got too.
It is. It truly is.
That is just.
Maritime Museum of the Atlantic has stuff like that down there too. If you're ever in Halifax, that's a place to go because you'll see a lot of nautical stuff like that.
Yep, that's awesome. That really is. That's so cool. Yeah. So, a dory. That's and it makes total sense. It just does.
Yep.
It makes total sense. That's
it fits everything they're pulling out of the swamp.
Yep,
every bit of it.
All right, so we're about an hour in. We got 100 people here today.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but if they don't, the Awoken one said that ship anomaly in the swamp. If it is a ship, is a treasure. It keeps jumping. I'm trying to catch it as it goes by, but it says a trip is a treasure in itself as long as it hasn't been burnt to a crisp. Yes, you're right. Yep.
Well, this remnants.
I can't see it being burnt to a crisp. I mean, it's in water. Once it tips over, it will just go out.
Right.
So I can't see it being burnt to a crisp. There's
some remnant of it has to remain.
It's showing up on the scans, right?
Yeah, there's got to be something left of it.
There.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably a lot of fire damage, but I mean, once it tips over and goes in the water, it's out. It's just going to sink.
But then it can be covered up easily, and nobody will ever see it. You get rid of the height of it, and you burn what you can. So, yep.
Wow.
All right, so let's jump over to the next section, which is, say we went through lot 32. Now they're going into the war room, and we're bringing your friend on the island.
My buddy Tim.
Yeah. So they jump over here, and that's where Billy tells them that, hey, I've been talking with the premier of I got to make sure I say that right. Premier, because I'm used to saying premier. It's premier. The premier of Nova Scotia, Tim Houston.
He'd be like a governor in the States.
Yeah, exactly. And but I'm glad they clarified that because I wasn't sure. I think I asked you about it to get clarification on that. Just where would he rank in that, in government as compared to in the United States? But Billy, he tells me, I've talked to him. He's going to come out. I think this was great, a great thing to do. There's Craig, of course. He was on the TV there as they were Zoom meeting as they brought him in to have a talk about this. And here he is showing up. There's Rick and Marty and Gary, of course, and there is Tim Houston, the premier of Nova Scotia. And he comes out.
Surprised like me, it was Gary that got the connection,
or Billy. Yeah.
Billy and the premier are friends. There's a lot of pictures that they have together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they know each other. Yeah, they know each other.
And you know him too, don't you?
Yeah. Tim's a good guy. Him and his wife Carol are really, really nice people.
Yeah. They seem like it. I mean, this is our first exposure to him for those of us who don't live up there, and he does. He both of them seem like and they seem like they like what's happening on Oak Island, like they are fans of the show or whatever.
They like
just
the show.
Seem that way.
Tim was there actually, but 2 years ago also.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so this is not his first trip there, but he's.
I saw that in our group page. Shannon, Freeman Public said the same thing.
Yeah, Tim's a really good guy. He's really nice. He's very friendly, down to earth, and he is a fan of the show.
Yeah, Amy said that the premier is in charge of CCH, which does the permits, right? Is that true? I don't know.
Yeah, he just has input into it. He doesn't make the decisions, but
right,
he can put input into it.
Let's see. Okay, so here they are driving out, and it was kind of cool because he took them on a tour.
The premier's not 6'7". Sorry, he may be 6'1".
The premier would be as tall as Jack.
Yeah, no.
I was gonna say Jack is like 6 foot, like 7 foot tall. So yeah,
I'm 6 feet. Tim's about 6'1", 6'2".
Me and Colin was at the same height.
6'8".
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing. I remember when I met you, I was like, "Hey," and I'm 6 foot, and I'm like, "Hey, Jack." I mean, anyway, so as they went around, they were giving them a tour of everything, and I love the fact that they were explaining to them how they are really trying to do things right. And I got to hand that to the guys, the Oak Island team, Rick and Marty, and having Laird there, and all the they had Dr. Aaron Taylor was there with them. And all the other archaeologists, Liz and Miriam and all that, they really are trying to do this correctly. They're not going in like Dunfield, digging big holes without documenting everything. And they're trying to do it the right way. But they're being strangleheld in some cases by, we found, bits and pieces of this. Now we got to all stop. You can't do there. I think it was good that they got an opportunity to sit down and talk, because they were on the screen for what, not 10 minutes.
See, I'll tell you, there's one thing about Tim. He said he's going to help them. He said he can interject and stuff and say some stuff to then get stuff going and possibly talk to the powers that be. He's not a typical politician who'll say, "Yeah, I'll do that," and not do it. He'll actually do it.
That's cool.
He's a man of his word. He's very honorable. I mean, I like the man. He's a good person. I really, really like him. Tim's a good friend. But he will, if he said he's going to put some input in and stuff like that, he will definitely do it.
That's cool. And that is a very good part.
I was impressed with his wife asking the questions.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a very good thing for them on the island with Tim coming down for this visit. I think it's going to work out well for them. It's going to work out for all parties. He's going to respect what needs to be respected, and he's going to try and help them do what they want to do.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a win-win. I think it's a very, very good move that Billy did that, and I think it was awesome. I think this is going to be really good for them.
Yeah, I think so.
And I'd like to and if Tim's even watching, I'd like to thank him, because this is just a big thing he just did for these guys. If it all works out.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, for sure.
A morale booster, if nothing else, right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And it gives them a chance to, and now he sees it firsthand, and he even mentioned that he could tell that they're, and so did Carol, saying that, that yes, that they see that they are really trying to do this the right way, and just don't tie their hands behind their backs, try to help them, because we said this before when we were talking about finding the pottery that put an all stop to the southeast corner of the swamp. The more you let them go and do it the correct way, the more you're going to find.
Yep.
It just makes sense, right? You let them go, let them do it the right way. They're going to find more stuff for you in the end. Don't tie their hands behind their back. But
and the other good thing,
you got to do it right. You got to play fair.
And the good thing is they have a go-to person now. Like before, the previous government didn't have a go-to person. They just basically sent it in and hoped for the best for their permits and stuff like that. Now they have someone that actually they can advocate for them to get this stuff done. If there's any problems or something wrong with the forms or something, they can get this all fixed and corrected and get it done. Yep. So I mean, they have somebody that's an advocate for them now that's going to work with them. So it's a big win for them to have him there.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, that's what Amy says. Dale, I agree. Yep. help them move forward next year and
Yep.
back in the swamp. Yes.
Yeah, I think this is going to
Get
be an
back in that
amazing
swamp.
amazing move for them to have. I think Billy did the best thing they could have possibly ever had,
Yep.
besides finding the gold. But I think this is a
Right. Yeah.
huge thing for them to have the premier involved.
Yep.
I was very impressed with her and the questions that she asked.
Carol's
me
very
too.
knowledgeable. She will ask questions, and she is generally interested in the show. So she's probably thrilled to death to be there to see everything.
Yeah. What do they say?
Yeah.
Behind every good man is a very strong woman.
Exactly, and she is a rock for him. So I mean,
Yep.
they're both really nice people, and I was really impressed to see them both on there. I thought it was just going to be Tim, but I was very impressed to see his wife there.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to point out too, real quick, that Jeff from Anchor Tours put up, or I believe it's Jeff, put up that one of the oldest remaining shipbuilding firms left in Lunenburg, is the Dory Shop, and he's got a link to it. So that's really cool. If you want to check that out, the Dory
I forgot
Shop.
all about that place.
Yeah, you can check that out. Thank
It's
you
really neat.
for putting that up. I appreciate that very much. Boy, there's a lot of comments that I've missed. I've been trying to. I know you've been flashing them up. Thank you, John, for putting.
There's
them up
just
there.
one there, and I don't know who it was from. It just says Tim has integrity, and you see Dal said yes, he did. He did an amazing job saving that piece of property from developers. Tim is a really good guy. I really can't say enough about him. He's just an amazing individual. He's done a really good job so far since being in office, and we got
That's great.
3
How
years
long has he
more.
been in? How long has he been there now?
He just got elected in because the election was last summer, so he
Okay.
would have just got in, yeah. And
Okay.
he listen. The best part was I was a little shocked, but he went down there the day before the legislature opened, which is same as if your Senate opened or whatever. I don't know how you guys do it in the States, but this is the day before, so he should have been home writing speeches. Could have been preparing for the next. Nope, went to Oak Island,
That's cool.
which really blew me away, and I think that is fantastic. It just shows the amount of interest he has in this project.
Right. Well, and you know what? We've mentioned it before, but Oak Island, this TV show and what they're doing there has brought a lot of tourism to the area.
There is a lot of tourism.
I mean,
It's
they're
amazing
both
for that
helping
area.
each other.
Yep. And the more that gets going, the more that happens, and the more Tim gets involved, more tourism Nova Scotia gets involved. It's going to bring in a lot more tourism. Once COVID's over, which they're starting to ease restrictions now, it's going to be a 3-month phase plan. But once that's all done and restrictions are eased, it's going to be insane here with tourists, and it's going to be
Well,
busy.
I'm coming.
I hope so, and I hope the island is open for tours. I don't know what they do.
I know. I don't think it's going
I
to
don't
be,
think not this year. Not to my knowledge.
Then next
Has anyone
year
heard
is
about
going to be slammed in Mahone
Yeah.
Bay next year. It's just going to be crazy down there. But this is a big time thing for them.
Yeah.
Even to have the premier involved, it's just it amazes me.
Yep. Linda, have you heard? Linda, I don't know if she can hear us, but I was going to say, if anybody's heard about whether or not they have a certain window that they have to know before to get everything set and do the tickets. And I think that window's closed already, and basically they're not going to do it this year. But we'll see.
They just announced today that the final phase of our opening plan is in April.
Yeah. See, I don't think it's going to happen then.
Yeah,
so.
and it's going to be everything. There's they're getting rid of social distancing and all that too. So
Yeah.
if
So
it was
we'll
a
be
little
going around.
earlier-
We'll be going around in Colin's boat to see.
Yeah,
Oak Island.
yeah,
So
you'll be allowed.
he invited us on the boat. So did Karen Publicover invited us on her pontoon boat to go around and see. So I'm looking forward to it, Karen. I really am. Really looking forward to it. We're going to get as many, I was going to say as many people up there. If I announce when we're going to be there, man, we might get inundated with a lot of people. We're going to pack the Mug and Anchor for the live show. We're going to have all these people.
Absolutely.
Hugh's going to be there. Henry's going to be there.
great.
Tom Burns will be there. I mean, the Woken one. I mean, we're going to get so many people there. Jan's going to be there. I mean, we're going to do a live show at the Mug and Anchor. It's going to be awesome.
You should rent the Blue Nose.
You know what? I mean,
Rent the
we
Blue
might have to.
Rent the Blue Nose. It's a big sailing ship. Next schooner.
Oh, I got that kind of money. Sure, I can do it. Yeah. We need to get him on the show, and then we'll talk.
You know what? I'm trying to get the premier on. I've emailed twice, and it's just he's very, very busy.
Yeah.
So I'm trying. As soon as I find out if I can get him on, I will get him on for about 10 minutes to talk about
That'd
it.
be awesome. That would
he's
be
a
really
down to earth, really nice guy. He's got a lot of integrity, and he does an amazing job. And I'm quite proud to say he's a friend, and he's probably one of the best premiers we've had.
Just reading some stuff here. Okay, so some of the chat that's been going by here. Mary Louise McMahon. Think of the fellowship carefulness versus the Dunfield, the destruction of Dunfield. Yes, exactly. That's what I mean about it. They really are trying to do this right. Let's see.
Tom Burns. Tom was answering. Stone lined well. Yes. Let's see. It would be interesting to compare stonework in well in the swamp in the well at New Ross. Oh yeah, it would be.
Good
Yeah.
call.
Yeah, it would be interesting to compare the two. The well that's on Alessandra's property in New Ross, to compare that stone work on that one as compared to the one on the island. That would be interesting to do for sure. Let's see. Freshwater springs are the best, and we had one we could drink from in the cottage in the country. This is Marilyn Rathwell. Until Domtar came in the area around in the 80s, almost 5 miles away, but affected the groundwater. Has never been the same. Yeah. Well, let's see. Nolan also had an old well. This was Dave Petrelli said he was talking with Tom. He said Fred Nolan also had an old well in the south to the east of the swamp where they drilled in 2015. I think he did. I do remember that. I remember hearing about that before.
One of the oldest wells is to the east of the swamp, and I asked about wells at one point when I was doing research. I asked Doug Crowell about it. He said, "Yeah, there's an existing well up and to the east of the swamp."
Okay,
it's one of the oldest wells because I was doing the whole let's match Alexandra's site with what's on the island. Yes. So I was like, hey, do you know any existing wells? And he said, yeah, there's one very old one to the east of the swamp.
Yeah.
They're all talking about the Blue Nose on there.
Yeah, they're saying to have them pick us up in Boston and sail us up to Mahoney.
You want to know something? Actually, my friend Phil Watson is this captain of the Blue Nose.
Oh, get him on the show. Come on, bring him on. We got to talk to him.
No, yeah, Phil's great. He's been captaining the ship since a couple of years now. I can't remember how long. He looks like Captain Highliner, but yeah, he's a really good guy. But he knows a lot about ships.
Yep, that's cool. Yeah, the Blue Nose. Yeah, a lot of people are jumping in. That's what Henry said too. Yeah. September. Let's see. Yeah, that's when Linda was talking about September because of the weather, and toward the end of the season.
You never know. They may open it up. They may see the announcement today too, saying that the restrictions are lifting here, and there's they're saying there's going to be no social distancing in April. There's going to be no gathering limits, nothing like that. So they may change their minds very quick and do a flip and open it for tickets. You never know.
Okay. Unless, of course, this is going to be a much more in-depth dig, and they don't want anyone to see what's going on.
Exactly, that's the other part of it.
That's the other part of it. And with the signs going up last year, the island is closed. It might stay closed because of what's going on in the.
They may have found something and they want it closed. We don't know,
and that's fine. They have every right to do that.
Right.
Yeah, September is gorgeous.
And you might combine that with the swamp next year. Yeah, if they do both.
Yeah. Correct. Yep. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. September is a beautiful month in Nova Scotia.
It is stunning here. No, in September, October's fall, and the leaves are just incredible. Anyway, I've been to Nova Scotia here.
I've been there several summers, and it didn't get over 80 degrees. It was perfect weather.
Now in October, the leaves all change, and you wouldn't believe the tourists that come. But it's an incredible scenes here when the leaves change.
Let's see.
I agree. Anchor tourists, it's beautiful here in Nova Scotia in the summer.
Let's see. Oh, Linda had something about the. She put something February 22nd, I think, is the cutoff about the tickets for the tour.
They may still do it because now the restrictions are lifting.
I'm trying to go back and find it now, and I don't. It was probably a while back. Where there's so much chat going by. We're doing our best. Oh, here.
You found it.
You need to know that there will be a break on. Oh, she's talking about February. Oh, this is something else. Referring to a break in the show. You all need to know there will be a break on February 22nd, all afternoon and evening airing of the programs about Lincoln. So there won't be an Oak Island show that day on that for that week. So February 22nd. So we may we'll probably do something different that night, that Wednesday night.
Maybe for us here in Canada, what does that mean?
What? Say that again.
For us here in Canada, what's with the Lincoln?
Oh,
Well,
There's a show about Abraham Lincoln, a series about Abraham
Okay.
Lincoln.
Documentary.
Yeah, documentary. It's a several part documentary about Abraham Lincoln, and it's going to be they're advertising the heck out of it. Well, it's on right now, I think. I
Okay.
think it's actually started already. But it's kind of cool.
well,
Interesting.
President's Day in the States is that Monday, the 21st.
Okay.
That's
so
why.
you know, yeah, and so that whole week is President's Week, and then they're gonna put the Lincoln documentary on.
Gotcha.
Yep.
What did you say? I'm related to John. Oh, this was Jan. She said I'm related to John Howland, the guy who fell off the Mayflower. I'll just tether myself to the Blue Nose.
They actually do tours on the Blue Nose here in Halifax. When it's in Halifax or wherever it's docked at, you can buy tickets and actually go on a sail on it.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. It's like a 2 or 3 hour tour.
All right. That was cool that Vanessa, I'm going to jump back to the pictures. We're almost at an hour and a half already. Man, this is
Wow,
going
that's
fast.
crazy.
Vanessa got a chance to meet them too. That's really cool. I mean, that's the, there she is shaking hands with Carol Houston,
Yeah,
and
and Tim.
it was just really cool that she
I
got.
wouldn't be. I honestly
We know
wouldn't be,
who's in charge.
I
Yeah,
honestly wouldn't be surprised if Tim requested to meet everybody.
yeah,
He's that personable. He'd want to come in and meet them all.
yeah, probably so. And this was cool where Rick got a chance to really just talk to him,
Yeah.
And Rick is so passionate about everything that has to do with the island and everything that it's really cool that he got that opportunity to just really talk to him and tell him, how he
He
feels and how they're working.
articulated so well.
Yeah, yeah.
I've actually heard that he stayed the entire day.
Oh, yeah. I don't doubt that he did.
I've
I
heard
really
he stayed
don't.
the entire day.
Yeah, I really don't doubt that he did. I mean, we don't see his security. There's got to be some security around somewhere
No.
too. We never see the camera guys too much because they're always hiding, and the sound guys and all the directors and everything. But they're always there.
Honestly,
and
I don't think Tim has security.
Really.
No,
He
it's not
came
like
over
it's
the
not
bridge
like-
on his own.
What's that?
He came over the bridge on one car.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he
true.
doesn't have security unless he's going to large events. He may have RCMP, but
No
normally,
security in
no.
Nova Scotia. Linda says.
No.
Linda Simon says.
No.
Yep.
You might get some locals.
Yep. There you go. One last picture of them all talking, and he was talking to Laird too. He was telling Laird, good job, because Laird is the point man for all the archaeology. He's still,
Yep.
still the point man for that. So, and the finds that are working with CCH and all that. So, yeah.
And I'm
Laird
sure,
does.
I'm sure Tim had a complete tour of everything.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
seen
They only showed us
everything.
the highlights. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Laird does a great job, and
Laird's
we're really,
amazing.
we know that he's doing his very best. He was so emotional when the whole thing happened and they had to shut down those parts. He got very emotional about that. But
Laird
I
doesn't
think
Laird doesn't live too far from me, actually.
really, yeah. I think he does a fantastic job, and he's working.
He's an amazing guy.
Yeah, I really do too. I think so too. Lastly, they jump over to the war room here, and that's not at the end here. We're not quite there yet. But they jump over to the war room. This was kind of interesting. They had Dr. Christopher So coming on, and they were talking about the lead bag seal that they found. She was going back over it again and looking at seeing if they could get a better idea of the insignia that's on it. And here you see some of that. One of the pictures came up. This is where Laird was talking about it. It looked like it had a 4 embedded with the double X at the bottom, and then an E here on this side. And then they were thinking this was an I, but Krista was thinking it was a T. She's got it laid out there. It looks like more like a T. Don't know. It was hard to tell because a lot of that was worn off. But she was saying that was the Treasury of England. If it was a T, it could be the Treasury of England.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. And then they also went for a little step further, and they tied this back to Scott Clark, who was there, and he was talking about the Concepcion and the ships and stuff that may have gotten waylaid, and headed up to Nova Scotia with some of the. He was talking about Phipps and how Phipps they found some of the treasure from the Concepcion that was supposed to go back. A lot of it did go back to Spain, was it, or England? England.
England.
Yeah. And so a lot of it did, but then some of it did not. because they had the second wave that they brought only had a little bit. They think that a lot of that, or some of it, ended up going up to Nova Scotia because there was a ship found up there. And they also said it Phipps and the guy that was working with him. I'm trying to remember that other guy's name. There's Phipps, the guy that there was a guy that was working with him. I'm at a loss for his name, but he was also they didn't live that far. They had land that they owned that was not that far away from Nova Scotia. So they were kind of tying that in with there. So we got to see Scott Clark a little bit more.
Someone asked
Scott,
what's the symbol in the middle of between the T and the E.
That 4?
No, the line. Oh, it is a 4. Okay.
Yeah, that's what Laird was saying. It looked like a 4, but this you got this solid line here.
Yeah.
With double X at the bottom.
I thought you were talking about the X's. I was thinking I couldn't figure that out, but no, it makes sense now.
Yeah, if that is a 4, we don't know for a fact, but it's just so old.
Yeah.
Let's see. She said that Dr. Christopher So tells the group that the bag seals were popular from 1450 to 1730, and she feels the initials on the seal are a T and an E that could stand for the Treasury of England. Then she shows the team the elemental analysis, which revealed that the bag seal was pure lead and had no contaminants such as arsenic or antimony. She also tells the team that the purity of the lead could mean that it was from an earlier time because of from an earlier time they started getting those contaminants recycled into them. They were recycling and they were getting it into the lead. So that would be indicative of being from an older time period. So that was pretty cool. So that was nice to get that little analysis on that. Here's that analysis that she took here. There you see that what looks like a T or an I and then the E on this side and then that piece up going up the center. But anyway, yeah, this pure lead. The seal is made of quite pure lead. Very some surface contaminants, but it was on the surface, not embedded in the lead or not part of the lead. No tin was detected, no pewter. So this was not a pewter seal that they kind of went to a little bit later also, but simply a lead seal. So that made it pretty cool. Pretty cool find. So then I love this picture of the sun, rising over there, and you see the crane off in the background over in the money pit. I had to grab that picture real quick. And then the arrival of the oscillator, the awesome oscillator. 21. Let's see. What did he say? It's the oscillator is designed to apply 1,185 tons of torque.
Good.
I can't even fathom what that really means. Honestly, I mean,
you wouldn't want to land on you.
Yeah,
no, not at all.
1,185 tons of torque that this thing can push. Yeah. So, in other words, if it gets into a rock and all that kind of stuff, it can torque it right through. It can eat right through.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's that strong to be able to keep that oscillation going and be able to push it down into the ground. And the 21-ton hammer grab is capable of removing 11,000 pounds of soil per scoop.
Whoa.
That's unreal.
That's unreal.
It is unreal.
Jeff, one of the things that I think we underestimate or don't give credit to are truck drivers. Can you imagine bringing this stuff across the causeway, that heavy, that narrow roadway, and then you get on the island, and you're on a road that looks like a steak.
I know.
Yeah, they get right up there and they back it right in and bang, they hit it right on the money.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's
so I mean, hats off to them. I mean, that's
what Dale was saying. He's talking about the road coming, and I've not been there. John's been there. He's seen the road, but the road that comes in from the church, I guess, or whatever. That's kind of where they gonna meet point or whatever. But then coming down that road is all windy. How they get these things through there
baffles me.
Yeah, good truck drivers, like Jack says, for sure.
These guys are skilled. They know what they're doing.
Yep.
I also think of Karen because I remember when Jeff interviewed her, they said, "Hey, can you come a little bit later? You're awful noisy in the morning."
Yeah,
Could you imagine getting woke up with that thing with horns going and everything else at
Oh
5 o'clock?
yeah. When
There's
they
your
were bringing the
alarm clock.
caissons over, yeah, they were blowing the horns and stuff. Hey, we're here.
Someone said the
Karen's going,
flatbed was.
"Oh."
Someone said the flatbed was so low that it dug into the ground a couple of times.
That's yeah. I was looking at that. I was when they were showing it up on the money pit area. I mean, you saw the front of that lowboy. It's a lowboy trailer that they
Yeah.
were bringing in there, and the front of that lowboy was just like centimeters above the
That
gravel.
would be so friggin' heavy.
Mhm. Yep. So there it is. Getting put in
My
place.
thought is, how much does that cost to move that with the fuel costs? Man, that's a lot
Yeah.
of money.
Yeah, definitely. I
Even
like
to
this picture.
transport it from say Las Vegas to there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where they brought them. They had to bring them. Yeah, that thing from the oscillator. I mean, it almost looks like it's brand spanking new. They may have just bought the thing. I don't know.
They may have built it, but that's a lot of stuff to transport. Jeez, that's a
I mean,
big
you look at
job.
the picture. Look at that thing. I mean, it looks
Looks like a
brand
tank.
new.
Mm.
You know, so they may have bought it just for this purpose, so they could bring it out here, and it'll get
That's
paid
some-
for while it's here. I don't know about that.
That's
but
some big money.
yeah, it is. I love
That's
this
why
picture
Vanessa's
right
looking
here.
at it like that.
Yeah, I grabbed this particular picture because of a couple of different things I really liked about it. One was the this can here. I remember this one looks a lot longer than the other ones, but it actually has a short piece attached to the front of it. So it is a regular size can, but it also had an additional piece on the front.
I wonder if that's a starter can.
It might be the starter
be.
can.
Yeah.
It might have the bit with the teeth on it on the
Yeah.
first piece there. So it may have.
And
I
then
don't know.
they just add on to it. 'Cause that's what
Yeah.
it looks like.
Yeah, because there's a short piece, this little piece on the front of it. It was a shorter one. The other thing that I noticed about it was our, I think these are the, no, I guess they're not. They're the pilings from the cofferdam that were there
Oh,
from last
yeah.
year.
Mhm.
They used to sit right here where this white trailer is, and
Hmm.
now I don't see them. And I was wondering if that was them up here that they moved them up on a hill, but that does not look like. That doesn't look like. I don't know.
Is that trailer new there?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This trailer is.
I wonder what that's for.
That's Vanessa's changing room. That's her dressing room. I don't know.
It's kind of odd they put a trailer there, though. But
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That I would have to say that's going to be
Something for research.
Money Pit
I bet
Command.
that's Vanessa's office.
Yeah. Money Pit Command Central right there.
yeah, possibly.
Farmer
Yeah,
Duck
that's
would
all
have
new.
a real good one. Would hate to see what happened if they got a flat tire.
Jeez.
That's a
yeah,
really
so they got
interesting
1,
picture.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they got 7,
And Jeff, you
8,
can see if
9.
you go into that can that you think has the starter bit, you can see the seam right
Yeah.
there. Yep. And
Yeah.
there's where they would add the starter bit, and that's
You can
probably
actually
what that
you can
is.
actually see the little bits at the end of it if you look
Yep,
close.
you sure can.
8, 9, 10. So that's 10 at 20 feet. So
That's
that's
200
200 feet. They
And
got
there's-
over
and
200.
there's more behind them there by the crane too.
Yeah, there's 2 over here.
But they're
200.
you remember, Jeff, they might be doing more than one hole.
Which is 240 foot of can.
But they
Yeah.
might be doing more than one hole. That's the thing.
Right.
So they might be bringing all the caissons in at once.
Right.
Does anybody remember when Colin said this was being done? What month? What when? In September,
September.
was it?
September, late
September.
September.
It was September for sure that they were putting the cans in the first, and for the very first time was in September. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Amy said teeth can goes down first, everything else just adds on, which is true.
Yeah. Keep the one with the teeth on it first.
Now,
as it
what
goes
are
down.
the teeth made of? Are they a carbide bit?
Oh, they
teeth,
got to
or,
be
you
something.
know?
They got to be
I would
something.
think so. Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to ask Vanessa when we have her on the show. We'll ask her.
Yeah,
Write
that's a
that
great
question down. That's kind of neat that they took C1. What they do is these cans right here. You see all these little cans right here. These are the ones that they put out when they have the tours to mark where the cans are. They lay them out on the money pit to say, okay, this is where all these different cans that they put in. But C1, I believe, is still in the ground, and I I don't know if that's it right there or not, but
Might be
they
it.
probably took part of the top of it off
Yeah, they would have had to.
because they got all this stuff in there. Because you see, it's gone at the moment. This
And they
was over here was at AB 13 where they had the water shooting up out of the hole. This was
Yep,
right
yep.
here where this piece of machinery is. But
They may have cut it down, capped it, and then covered over it just to get this stuff in there.
right.
But
That
Jeff,
may have been. Go ahead.
I was going to say, look at the size of the cans that they put out on the money pit area, and look at the size of the cans they're using. And I've been there; those are the ones I saw, the small ones right there when
Yeah.
I was on the island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought they were pretty large. So I was like, I can't imagine those cans going down.
I know. Look,
mean-
it's amazing how much bigger they are.
Geez, you get 2 or 3 divers down those
Yeah. Oh,
if they had to.
yeah. Yep.
Oh,
They
yeah.
better put a camera down. I'm telling you what, man. When they put that sucker down there, they better put a camera in there. That just amazes me that they don't put a camera down every one of those well pipes. I would. I'd have one down there. Every single one of them, I'd put a camera
Someone
down.
commented and said, "C1 looks like it was welded shut last week."
Yeah, it did. I was going to say that. Thank you
Yeah.
for whoever brought that up. I think they did. Because you saw the guy down there welding. That's
Yeah.
probably exactly. They probably took the one top of it off and then welded a cap on it so that
And
it
then
doesn't
Billy
get
put
full.
Billy put all the rock over so they can do this
Yes.
Yep.
because they're all mapped out by Steve. So
Yeah, that was Tom and Wanda. Thank you guys for that. Yeah, I think you're exactly right. That's what I was gonna bring up. That it looked like that.
Any
was,
of those holes, even if they're covered up, Steve has the markings for them.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's why they knew when they went back and when they D2 was one of the ones that they went and uncovered, and they had to actually dig down to it because they had covered it and then capped it off and then covered it with dirt. So a lot of those well pipes are still in the ground. They're just down below the dirt level because they want to save them in case they need to go back. When Spooner was doing his testing with the water, he was putting that baler down there to get water samples from down there. They dug a lot of those back out so he could run those samples. Or get those samples. So those pipes, many of those well pipes are still in the ground.
Dale, I have a
Right, cool.
question for you.
well,
Okay. One of the questions was, why did they weld it? My question to you is there someone from the Nova Scotian government there to inspect any of
Oh,
that
yeah.
machinery, or are they usually on site? I would imagine you would have to be permitted,
they would have to have inspectors there.
and they would have to have inspectors.
100%. Any job that's done in Nova Scotia, they have to have an inspector
Okay.
look at it, no matter
And I
what
would
it is.
I would imagine that weld was probably something that the Nova Scotian government required.
Yep.
So
It's all about work safety.
Yeah, it's work safety. So you
Yep.
have to. I could see him saying you have to weld that shut.
Yep.
So they can't be disturbed. So there's no slippage of the top, so you can't disturb, and then put the gravel over top of it as a
Yep.
safety issue.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
I'm sure Billy probably discussed this with the province about how they wanted it done, and they came up with a solution to do it.
And what we don't see is that I would imagine that the province would have to come out and inspect the site
Yep.
before any digging can be done.
Probably before any machinery arrived.
Yeah.
Big machinery, make sure it was sound,
Yes.
make sure the ground was sound,
And
make
this
sure
is
everything
what,
was perfect.
so we don't see this, but I would imagine, being a construction site, which is really what it is,
Yep.
that you would have to have someone on site, getting the proper permits, making sure it passes safety inspection.
Yep.
By law.
Yep.
I don't know how they get around that. I know in the States we do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's the same as Canada. You have to have an inspector there to probably check every single aspect of it to see if the ground is safe, see if everything is put down safely, and make sure the equipment come in safely. It's all about safety.
Yeah.
Question I have for the group: they're on their first case on right now.
Right.
Going down.
Mhm.
Now, if they got to do a second, does Billy have to come in and maybe build up some more ground so they can move over?
I think if they put the first case on down and they don't find anything, they will pull the cans back out and fill it back in, fill
They
the
would
hole
have
back
to.
in,
They would have
and
to.
then move over to a new spot. But yeah, he would have to be involved in filling it back in and then making sure it's stable.
Yep.
And then, so that's going to require time and effort to make sure it's stable. Then move the whole rig to hole number 2. But I mean, go ahead.
Oh, I said someone just commented and said inspectors drop in unannounced. That is true. They do drop in unannounced, but I'm sure that they would have had to get the government involved in this to come in and inspect this 100%.
Yep.
They would have had appointments set up and everything for these guys to come in and look at everything, make sure it's being done properly, and and everything because of the magnitude of it and because of the publicity from it.
Right.
They wouldn't want any slip ups whatsoever to have
No.
anything happen where they would have to stop.
Right.
And you pull the can, you have to have an inspector look at the fill to make sure it's stable.
Yep.
Then you have to have the inspector look at the new site before that can goes down to make sure that the equipment is platformed correctly and everything's level. And everyone, and they can just drop in. I guarantee with this production site, because it is not only a construction site, but it's also a production site.
Yep.
Just because of the high caliber.
I wouldn't be surprised if they have an inspector on staff.
Oh, I bet they do.
I guarantee they would. They have Laird, and he's with the government. So I guarantee they would have an inspector on site at all times to make sure everything is being done perfectly.
Yep.
Have to.
And safely.
How do you get around that?
Yeah, you can't. They have to.
Not with a job like this and this public, there's no way around it. They would have to have somebody.
Yeah, safety team as well. Yeah.
Yep. And they would want to do, and they would want to, and the Laganas would want to do everything perfectly because they don't want to cause any issues that they will not be able to dig or do it or have a stoppage because they just can't do that. So they would go with every rule in every book.
So I like this. What did Billy write on the can, guys? I didn't catch that yet.
Yeah, he. I was showing that here a second ago. He wrote "digging for answers."
I love that. Thank you. I missed that.
Because they are. I mean, they'd like to pull up treasure, but they're digging for answers. They want answers. I love. That's why I took a picture of that one because I just loved what he said there.
It's awesome.
Yep. Yeah. And to all that were here,
John, I got a question for you.
Bobby Dazzler. Wonder who put that on there.
John, I got a question for you from the Awoken one put on there something about in general terms, the fellowship own every bit of treasure given they legally own the rights to the island. I don't think they do. I think they own like 80%. If they find stuff, I think the Nova Scotia government gets a portion of that.
I thought they got 20 and they got 80 and
that's what I thought.
Anything culturally significant, the Nova Scotian government has 100% rights.
Yeah, because I remember you talking about that before. That's why I just wanted to bring it up, but I was just wanted to make sure it was seen.
Yeah.
Anything artifact wise.
All the facts go to the Nova Scotian government. Anything culturally significant, obviously, goes to the government. And there's an all stop. The minute you find something, artifact wise, let's say the Ark of the Covenant, stop. It's an all stop. And you bring in your archaeologist and the government, and it's going to be inspected. And there's all the sorts of things that happen. The minute you find something like that, a treasure chamber, it's an all stop. Any First Nation artifacts, it's an all stop.
And Amy just said they get 80% of the treasure, and Nova Scotia government decides is treasure. So
right. That's the key point. They decide what's treasure. So if it's some kind of an artifact, it goes to goes to the government.
I can see the Laganas doing that though. I can see if they found a major artifact. I can see them actually giving it.
Yeah,
but they'll take credit. But they get credit for it. But they would take. But I think it would go to the government. Any major artifact.
But then let's say it's a Jewish artifact like the menorah. Okay, and they suddenly pour the menorah. And we saw Rick in one of the episodes actually go into the swamp and he goes, "I'm going to pour the menorah up from the swamp right now." Remember that when he goes in and he destroys his phone. And so and I think Pedro was on the island at one point, and they were trying to, they thought they knew what a menorah was. So let's suppose they pull the menorah out of the money pit area or the swamp. What happens at that point?
I honestly think the Nova Scotia government would claim it as a historical piece and then contact the proper people to see where it goes from there.
But once the menorah is discovered, and there were several menorahs, there was more than one menorah.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Once one of them is discovered, it's an all stop. I mean, an all stop for a while. It's just not like a week's all stop. And you're securing the site. You're having. That's an international find as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And a big food fight.
And then there's going to be a bit of back and forth. Who has claim to that menorah?
Right.
Yep.
Does it go back to Israel? Which it should, in my opinion.
I think it would go. I honestly think it would go to the Nova Scotia government first, and then contact the proper people that would stake claim to it. That's how I believe it would work, but I'm not 100% sure. But
because it's But
can you imagine the ant? Can you imagine the ant farm that place would become if they found something like that?
Oh wow!
Everybody would be claiming something.
Karen public cover would be busy. There'd be so many cars coming across the island of people go.
Jeff, she could open up her back lawn and charge $50 a shot the park.
because you would have
Yeah.
officials from everything coming over there if they pulled up something like that.
And someone said international law courts would come into play depending on what's discovered. And that would be true, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tom
Because you would
Burns
have everybody. You would have Spain. You would have England. You would have everybody saying, "Well, that's ours."
Yep. Yep.
So
Well,
it
something
could
like the
it could
menorah.
it could get really messy if they did find stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Well, if it's Spanish plunder, that's one thing. If it's the menorah, that would automatically, you would think Jerusalem, or
Right.
the Israeli government would step in and say, well, that is of Jewish heritage.
a major
think-
religious artifact like that would definitely put an all stop to everything.
I honestly think the Leganas would do the right thing and give it to the proper people.
Oh yeah, I think
I
They
really,
would. They
really
absolutely
do.
would.
I think so.
100%.
Yeah.
But
do.
and Dale, we talked about this last week. If it's an all stop, do they keep it under wraps?
I think they would.
And
I
you thought
really
they would,
think-
and many
I
people
really think they
disagreed
will.
with me. In the chat, that they say, John, no, they would keep it under wraps.
Oh, yeah,
How
100%.
How long? I mean, good grief, you would have to really enforce the NDAs. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I
But
mean,
you notice
and keep-
everybody's being very quiet right now.
everyone's being very quiet right now,
Yeah.
so it really
Yeah.
lends credence to maybe they found something of that type of significance.
I think if they found something, they would stop work, which I believe they did because
What they
I
did.
I don't think there's many caissons in the ground like they wanted
I
because I
there
think
was
they found something. I think they stopped and
two,
now they're working on it.
two maybe went down.
I'm thinking two.
Maybe
They were
three?
only because it takes what did they say? It takes a week to put a caisson in, and they were only putting caissons in for maybe 2 weeks from what John
Colin was saying.
Colin saying. Yeah, Colin said they were doing it only for about 2 weeks. So it sounds like they may have had to stop for some reason, and I'm thinking the reason they found something.
Yeah.
They
They
had
put
to.
up signs saying we're closed, no cars allowed.
We're closed, and
And then
at that
getting
point-
very secretive.
Yeah.
And you
Everybody's
wouldn't
Everybody's
know
been
if
very
they,
quiet.
and you
Everybody's been
wouldn't
very
know, and you wouldn't know if they're taking anything out. They could have dump trucks just taking stuff over. They could have put it back in the
Exactly.
truck and
Yeah.
just went nonchalantly. So we
Yep.
don't know.
I like some of the things that it says on here. I was just reading some of these, for them that dare win. It's here it comes. And one of the things that Rick put on there, he put that long list of letters,
Mhm.
and it said, "In memory of those who have come before, we say thank you with respect and honor." That was cool. That was cool. Yeah, it's really amazing to think that if they, um, when you think about what happened, and it all seemed to happen about the same time frame toward the end of the season last year, when the caissons were being put in the ground, that all this stuff started happening. The sign went up on the out front of Oak Island saying, "We're done. Nobody's closed. Get away." I mean, a lot of things happened all at once, and then everybody's been very, very quiet about, talking about any of that. The NDAs were like really, very strong right now. So we'll see. But
Look at the teeth on that caisson.
I
I'm
know.
just looking at them right now. Carbide bits. I mean, look at that. I mean, good grief. They'll cut through practically anything.
Yeah. It would definitely cut through rock.
That's no
Okay,
joke.
you know what? Someone just asked if the Ark of the Covenant was found. Who lays claims to it? I'm going to end this right now. I'm claiming it. It's mine. We're done. I'm taking it.
Well, good luck with that.
Thank you. I'll store it in my basement.
If the Ark of the Covenant is found, didn't it? I think biblically it says that's when it will be found when man's greatest need is for the Ark of the Covenant to be found. So
I don't
want them to find the Ark of the Covenant. I don't want to think that the end times are here already, even though it kind of feels like that in some respects, doesn't it? Avon Lady brought up a good point here, and I thought about this too. She said, "I'm surprised they didn't dig over that 12 by 12 feature that the guy found when he did the seismic study with the new software. They found that 12 by 12 feature down there. That's what he was saying about that size.
But again, we don't know where the second caisson went.
Right, exactly. We don't know where they put the second caisson, or did they go a second one? We still, we did close that voting on that. If they thought it was 1, 2, 3, or 4, I voted 2. I think they put 2 down. Some people said 1. Colin was thinking there was only 1 based upon what he saw.
And the other thing is they could have sonic drilled into that anomaly and said, "There's nothing here."
You would think they would at least try if they know exactly where it was, but you
Well,
had
they
to
do know where
measure.
it is.
You had to measure like 300. I forget how many feet it was, like 320 feet from
Yep.
the shaft 12, which we weren't sure exactly which one
You
was
know
shaft
what? I'm
12.
pretty sure Steve has that marked out.
Well, and I
perfectly.
asked Steve about that. He was very evasive about it. I understand. I didn't push him. I'm like, okay, he was pretty evasive
Yeah.
about his answer.
Yeah,
So I think that ties in.
I think they may have put something down just to check it, just to test it, and they're not showing it because we don't know.
Yeah, we don't.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody said, I think the government has first dibs on everything. Yeah.
No, I believe it's 80-20. I'm going to look at the Treasure Trove Act again
Yeah.
because it was amended. So
No Canada, no state of Israel, no USA, no. Oh, I didn't. It was Hugh. I'm not sure what he's referring to.
he's talking about some of the stuff that's been who's going to lay claim to because some of these places weren't around.
Let's see. Oh, that party yacht. Oh, there was a party yacht that was out there too, right off the coast.
And that was in Halifax. That was in Halifax for a couple of days. It's a lord from England.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He wanted to go and check out Oak Island.
He was doing a tour of the Maritimes, apparently, from what I've been told.
Yeah.
He was in Halifax. He went to Mahone Bay. He went to Chester. He went to a couple of places with that boat. That boat was huge.
Yeah. Colin had a picture of it. I said, oh, there's my yacht. Yeah. Yeah, that's mine. Wow. It's just going back through the chat here real quick. We've pretty much wrapped everything up, but I want to look and see. Let's see. I think Amy said, I think long-term Rick and Marty are not going to let it be commercialized. The museum is fitting with all. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
I think you're 100% there.
Yeah, I do too. Yep.
And I can see it on the island easily.
Just like when we talked with was it Matt Hawley with the Riverboat Museum that they had, same kind of thing. They're going to put together a really good museum about all the stuff that they found. I think we're getting really, really close to some answers. I really do.
I don't think they'll put a museum on the island per se. I think it'll be in Mahone Bay because that would just be so much traffic going down there and
trying to squeeze onto that island.
They would have to change that roadway, and it just caused so much disruption for the people that live there, like Kelly.
Yep.
It would just and the causeway is only one way, and it would be a nightmare if they put in a museum there. It would have to be in Mahone Bay somewhere.
Yep.
It would be near the Civic Center. Isn't there a Civic? I went to that Civic Center.
Yeah.
There's a Civic Center near Mahone Bay.
That makes
It'd
sense.
be in that complex right there would be a perfect place.
Can you imagine how much tourism that would bring? Oh my God.
Mahone Bay, the property values would double.
Yep.
Easily.
Anyone owning a condo could rent it out for top dollar.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Seagal Rock 79 says I was going to say that if they find the Ark of the Covenant, then we know the second is coming. Yeah. We're all in trouble at that point. So, let's see. Okay. So we do have Scott Clark coming in April or May. Scott was on this show again. They showed him from the previous couple of episodes that he's been on. So he's going to be coming on. He's going to be talking about the Concepcion and what he believes, what came up to Nova Scotia. So that's going to be really cool. Looking forward to that. That's going to be fun to have him on. And so, just as we wrap up here, going to cover some of these things again real quick. Don't forget tomorrow night, Tom Burns and we're going to be talking with Gypsy Jules and Donna Macaulay. They are coming on, and that they were on 2 times. Well, Gypsy she was on twice with Maddie and Beyond Oak Island, Sam Bass, and then also the mine. And I'm at a complete loss for the name of the mine they went into. It was right on the tip of my tongue. Somebody will remind me real quick, but they were on 2 different episodes. Jolene, I think something like that. They were on 2 different episodes, but they're a load of fun. These two, I tell you what, I can't wait to have. Gypsy's going to be on the show. Who said that? Marilyn. Yeah, tomorrow Gypsy's going to be on the show with us. Gypsy and Donna both are going to be on the show with us, and Josephine Mine. Thank you. That was Sharon. Hugh. So they're going to be on the show with us tomorrow. That's tomorrow night. And we're going to be talking about the episodes of Beyond Oak Island that they were on. So you guys got to come check this out. I'm telling you, it's going to be fun. Those two are so fun. And Gypsy, she goes around and she does metal detecting. If you know who Jace Robertson is, if anybody knows who he is, from the Duck Dynasty, he goes out and I'm going to track him down and see if we can get him to come on, because he's out doing metal detecting with Gypsy. So that might be my connection to get to to get to Jace. But anyway, so yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We got them coming on. Don't forget Terry DeVoe on Saturday at 2:00. We're going to be talking with him about all of his stuff and the Portuguese connection. Then next week we're back on again. I don't think we don't have a Beyond Oak Island next Thursday, so there won't be one. But then the following Saturday we've got Graham Phillips, Gretchen Cornwall, and I will be interviewing Graham Phillips. And then the weekend after that is Luca Santoni, and Gretchen and I will be talking with him. So got some really cool stuff coming up, folks. Yeah, you guys got to be checking it out with us right here on the Curse of Oak Island and Beyond live stream, and JFree906 on the YouTube side. John Edwards, I'm not going to say too much about it, but he's got some really interesting things coming up for him in the future here as well, that at some point you'll get to find out about, I think. And we'll see as we go forward with that. So thank you guys, John, Jack, Dale. Thank you for being here with us tonight. And all you folks that have come on and you've contributed to the chat, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. You guys are what make this show, and it's so much fun to have you here with us. And if you want to help support the show, we got our Patreon channel, patreon.com, and JFree906 there as well. So we really appreciate the patrons that we have. We thank you very, very much for it. So everybody have a good night. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you.
Night.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow night right here for Beyond Oak Island. Good night now.